Is that because your physique, or you just think you're gonna like? I think it just showed like the view is like solidarity. You want to come up too? Come on up here. No, we need like a show of force type situation. Okay, so Benny, and so just for you guys, we're going to do a brief presentation. I'm going to introduce the thing, then we're going to do a brief presentation, and most of this is just going to be Q&A. So we have an hour's time here we're going to work with.
We are live streaming, so we're ready.
Okay, so we're going to get started here. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to our town hall to discuss the two, not just one, but two public safety millages that will be on the primary ballot coming up here in August. So today, we're going to spend some time going through a few slides. I have asked, obviously, Director Cooper to be here to talk more in detail about some of the public safety aspects of these two requests, and give some more details, because both of these millages are public safety millages. Okay, so for the first slide, let's go to the first one here and get this started. And we're going to leave time at the end for questions as well. Okay, so you're going to hear me say this probably over and over and over, not just today, but just in general. This is not new, and it's not an increase. This is a renewal, a straight renewal, they call it. And what it means is it's a continuation of our existing levy. So the 7 mills. This is now, I think, this will be our third time renewing this one, as well as our public safety operating mill, and that's just under 2 mills, I believe, correct? Okay, so not new taxes, not new tax. Did I say not new taxes yet? Not new taxes, straight renewal, no tax increase, okay? What does it allow us to do? Director Cooper, do you want to go with the next bullet point here?
Sure, if I can read from this far. The next bullet point talks about it maintains our current staffing, service level for our sworn public safety officers who provide police, fire, and emergency medical response services. So it helps us. It'll keep us so we're able to maintain our current staffing levels. And as you all know, like I said, we do police, fire, and medical first responders. So it's not just one occupation, it's 3 all wound up in one. So police, fire, EMS.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so another thing, I want to just summarize again the two proposals. There's proposal 2026-01, which is a renewal of a millage to fund the public safety retirement system, otherwise known as Public Act 345. And this is a state mandated public safety funding for retirement benefits for public safety officers. And in Oak Park, we're a little bit unique in the sense that we limit ours to 7 years. So every 7 years, while that's good because we get to reconsider kind of where we're at, every 7 years we're back here talking to our voters again about renewing this thing, whereas in a lot of other communities where they've done this, the state law allows it to go on eternally, if you will. The second one is proposal 2026-02, and this is a renewal of the partial Headley override millage for public safety purposes. In other words, public safety operations. So, Director Cooper, what kinds of things would this millage allow you to do?
As far as from an equipment standpoint, like I said, obviously we provide the 3 professions, police, fire, and EMS. So we have to have patrol vehicles. Obviously, we have to have those fully equipped. Fire apparatus is a big concern. A couple years ago, we purchased a new fire truck. City manager and council approved a new fire truck, but at the particular time when we approved the 1 truck, we actually were in need of 2 fire trucks. And the trucks are not, they're not cheap. They are constantly, the prices constantly go up. The first fire truck we had, which was called a ladder truck, it was about 1.2, 1.3 million. The engine, which we are looking to purchase this year, is going to ring in probably right just under $1 million. They both serve different functions, but they're critical to the operation of our public safety department. Like I said, the police vehicles, the fire vehicles, the emergency medical equipment, we carry defibrillator units and just a litany of other medical equipment in our vehicles. We have computers that we have to keeping our patrol vehicles as well as radar units, a number of different pieces of equipment that help our officers when we're out on the street function at optimal levels. So it's critical that we have that equipment, and that's why we're here today to talk to you about this.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so let's go to the, obviously safeguards are, to have these two millages in place, provide vital services, as Director Cooper just mentioned. Of course, having the best public safety department in the entire state of Michigan here in Oak Park, we know that it allows us, these are public safety millages, but it allows us to do a heck of a lot more than just public safety, because we can attract a whole bunch of new businesses and keep existing businesses, because they know that, guess what? They are protected by the best department there is, which in turn protects property values. Let's go to the next one here. I just spoke to these two, but again, did I mention these are not increases? I said that? Okay. So these are, what do you call these, straight renewals, officer? Is that?
Yeah, it sounds correct, sir. Yes.
Okay, these are straight renewals, meaning, what does that mean? They're not?
Not increases.
Okay, there we go. They're not increases. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So, and again, it's a renewal, not an increase. It's a continuation of the existing tax levies, okay? Now, I have heard I've heard a person or two in the community say, if these didn't get approved, taxes would go down. Yes, they would. And you would lose $7 million of public safety services almost immediately. And by the way, public safety is our primary thing. So I'm not going to cut public safety, but I'm going to cut everything else in the city so that we can keep them in place if I don't have those funds to protect those services. So it's vitally, vitally important. Okay, so why state mandated obligations? I think everybody, I don't want to go too far in the weeds on this, but everybody knows we have a public safety pension system that 345 helps fund. And again, 7-year commitment. So this would take us from 2027. It would renew next summer, correct? Through the summer of 2033. And just the first one, so this is just the -01, the Public Act 345, generates about $5.6 million to public safety. Okay, so getting back into, and again, just it's a renewal, not an increase. But just getting back to the second one for a minute here, which is, I said 1 point, almost under 2. It's under 1, so it's under 1 mil. So you may be wondering, why isn't it 1 mil? Well, that's because of that. This one is actually subject to the Headley rollback. So you'll see in the first year here that it's not actually going to be the 1 mil. It's going to be less than that. So this one is going to produce somewhere around 800,000, give or take, in revenue. And this is a little bit different in the sense that it provides direct funding into public safety's operation. The other one does too, but it's more of an offset funding situation. And this one is different also in the sense that it has a 10-year life cycle as opposed to the 7-year one. So it was 10 years ago. I know you remember. You remember the 10 years before that even. I think I do too, actually, at this point. But every 10 years, here we are. Okay? Okay. Okay, so we are at the Q&A part, but before we get to that, I do want to say a couple more things. During the Great Recession, we all remember the Great Recession. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Good couple years. And I said this in my budget presentation to City Council, but when I came here in 2012, we had lost 47% of our taxable value, and just over 65% of the city's total revenue is from property taxes. So we lost almost half of our main source of revenue. And when I first came here back in 2012, we thought it's going to take us 42 years, I think was the estimate, Dave, to get back to our taxable value where it was prior to the crash. Well, it took us 14. But we still have inflationary increases in costs. So yes, it's great that we're back to where we started, but that's not accounting for all the inflationary increases year to year to year that we've endured during that time in the form of healthcare increases, operating increases, salaries. You know, everything's just more expensive. I think everybody knows that. And so these two millages will give us an opportunity to account for that and take that on. I want to just emphasize, too, that cities are not for profit. So we don't make money. We're not allowed to, by law, make money. We can offset our costs. We cannot make money. So we can't charge you and say, you know what, Director Cooper, let's have a slush fund set up with the extra. That's not how this works. This pays for the direct costs and no more. Okay? Okay, so let's get to Q&A. I'm going to come around to hand the microphone to you because, again, we're live on YouTube. We want to make sure that you're speaking through the microphone so people at home can hear you. And we have so many people in attendance. Do either of you... I know you have a question. Let's start with you. Could you give us your name?
Jackie Griffin. So my question is, the proposal 2601, what portion of the revenue to be received goes to public safety, and what proportion goes to the brownfield redevelopment and the corridor improvement authorities?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's an excellent question. And so let me give you we could talk for about 3 days about why that, so the state law requires us to carve out, if we have a brownfield authority, which we do, and we have another TIF set up for our corridor improvement authority, the state law requires us to carve out that proportion and not capture it for the public safety purposes. But outside of that, it's 100% is public safety. It was too succinct. I should have carried that out more. There's a lot more to that. But really, that's as simple as that. It's confusing legislation. I understand it because the point of it, and I'll just tell you, I think I was working at the state when they created that carve out. The point of it at the time was they didn't want to take away from economic development programs and projects, because otherwise this money wouldn't go to any of that. It would go straight 100% without the carve outs to public safety. So that was the intent. You have another question?
No.
Yes, you do. Come on. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, I've been here a long time. I lived here my whole life except for when I went away to college in 10 years. So I've been here a long time. So then my other question is, based on your answer, what portion of the city is the brownfield redevelopment?
Let's make sure, I want to ask you to clarify that question. So what portion of the city has a brownfield project on it, you're saying? So I'm going to defer some of this. I'm going to call upon one of my colleagues, Dave DeCoster. Okay, so I think we have 2 projects with brownfield plants on them right now. There's one, so over the last, let's back up even farther than that. So as an example, there's no longer an active brownfield on this property, but I want to use this as an example. The Armory site. Now you remember, what was that, 14 years ago? That thing was 0% developed, okay? And so we had all these developers. So the federal government came in and demolished the Armory, left all these chemicals and all this craziness going on, no prospects or anything like that. And they said, good luck. Okay, so we had all these developers say to us, yeah, we'd love to come build there, but we can't afford to do the cleanup. So we said, you know what? We need a brownfield plan. And what the brownfield plan allowed us to do on that specific property and others in the city was to capture the incremental increase in the taxes and use it to help clean up and remediate the environmental contamination on the property so that it gets to a point where someone could actually develop it. Okay, so that property, those properties, I should say now, today, are 100% developed, primarily because there was a brownfield aiding those properties' redevelopment. But I think there's 2 left, and I think one is Eaton, 2 left, yeah, okay. So is one Eaton Steel, and what's the other one? Barton Mallow, yeah. Oh, I'm wrong, okay, so what's the one on 11 Mile? So, yeah, that's the former Forgotten Harvest site, I'm pretty sure, on Greenfield over there. Yeah, that's being redeveloped. But the other one, well, Barton Mallow is the one, if you've noticed on 8 Mile Road, they're redoing, Barton Mallow is building their entire operations center here in Oak Park. We won that project. It's about a $30 million project. So here again, you know, even Barton Mallow, one of the largest, you know, commercial construction companies in the country, you know, the cost to demolish the building, do the environmental cleanup, get the property, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't work. So we put a brownfield together. Now, I want to clarify something on these brownfield projects too. The brownfield projects, it's not money out of our pocket. The city's not paying anything, because if these properties weren't developed, there would be no revenue from these properties anyway. So what we're doing is we're capturing this incremental TIF, it's called, to utilize to then go back, do the pre-remediation, pre-development work to get the property done. And that property, the demolition's already been done, and I think they're going to start going up on the construction here pretty quick. So, okay. Do you have we have another resident who's joined us.
Good evening, Ken Sherman. I'm a longtime resident in Oak Park. I actually have 3 questions. I can do them all at once or one at a time, whatever. My first question is, besides people thinking that their taxes would be reduced, what would be a reason that a resident would not vote for either one of these 2 proposals, is my first question. My second question is, how do we find out where the candidates stand on these proposals who are currently running for, you know, office? Because I haven't heard anything about what their stance is. And then my third question is, if either one of these proposals should fail, what impact would it have on the proposed recreation center and the senior citizen center, if you have money, you know, already, you know, lined up for those projects, but then if it fails, the public safety department is going to have to make cuts, and you're going to have to, or not make cuts, you're going to have to divert money possibly to public safety from other areas of the city. Thank you.
Okay, so those are some big questions. Okay, so that's a lot to unpack. So let me take my best shot at it here. So a couple of those I'm not going to answer. I'm refusing to answer. One is, what do the other candidates think about the proposals? They can speak for themselves. Go to their websites. I don't know. I don't even know that they know they're out there, by the way. They've not, I don't think we have any feedback from people running for Congress or their Senate or anything like that. So I have no idea. As far as the impact it would have on the city, it would be catastrophic. But period. There's no 2 ways about that. We have to have these funds to operate the city at the rate we're operating it right now. And I tell people all the time, go find a more efficient run city than this one. Good luck. Promise you, you won't. Ask these guys who've been here a long period of time. We run this place, I mean, we're a well-oiled machine here. I take great pride in that. So it'd be absolutely catastrophic. What would happen to the community center was another part of your question. The 2 are not interchangeable. So the community center is a voted millage that sits out separately, statutorily, from any of this. What would it do from an operational perspective? Because again, if these failed, my primary focus is still going to provide top-tier public safety services. So in order to do that and make up the $7 million we just lost, I would have to cut other departments. Okay, what other departments are we talking about? How many staff can we cut to get to $7 million? Do the math. It's an astronomical reduction, and it would heavily impact our ability to carry out, even though we're mandated to carry out the community center project, it would greatly impact our ability to carry that project out, just from a manpower perspective. Does that get you? Okay. Well, here, you gotta get on the mic. Oh, right.
Yeah, why wouldn't people vote for it other than thinking that their, you know, taxes are gonna go down or whatnot?
Well, so I went to business school. I think that's like a psychology degree you have to figure all that out. I'm not sure. Why wouldn't people? Yeah, I don't know. You know, there's different ideologies out there. There's obviously movements going on within our society to defund police and do all that stuff. I obviously don't share that sentiment, but I respect people's opinions, so. Okay. You gotta ask a question. You're one of 3 people. It's mandatory. And we're on YouTube Live, so.
Welcome to all the voters on YouTube. I already voted June 25th. I voted yes, and I would encourage everybody to do the same.
Thank you. Do you want to share anything else? Director Cooper?
Yeah, no, like I said, our residents, I know we have a few residents here, but just sincerely from the bottom of my heart, from the Public Safety Department, we appreciate and we thank you for your support, not only recently, but just historically. I've been here 36 years, and we've always had and shared a very outstanding relationship with the community that we serve, and we always pride ourselves in delivering the absolute best possible public safety services anywhere. And obviously, to be able to provide those services, it takes funding. And the residents have always stepped up and supported the Public Safety Department, and that does not go overlooked. We 100% appreciate that. And one of the things, like I said, unfortunately, back in 2012, when we had a reduction in staff, you were looking at probably 25% of our staff. We went from 57 officers to 42, and we had attrition down from that 57 number. When I hired on here, we were at 70 officers. And when I hired on, we felt that we were running a very lean operation as it related to providing, 911 services, police response to medical, fire, police emergencies, our investigations bureau. We didn't have a lot of fluff, and we still don't. We don't have any. We're basically at the meat and bones of the operation. And once we lost those officers, I had to do some restructuring of the entire department, which, you can imagine. It's like somebody just streeted keys to a car. It had no gas in it. All 4 tires were flat, and the engine was gone. And they tell you to go out here and win a race. So it took some creative restructuring, some hard work from the men and women. One that you see standing here to my right, to get the department back up and functioning to a point where we were pretty much at least somewhat comfortable. And I said that, I guess, to make the point that we're still recovering, trying to get those numbers back up. Right now, we're budgeted for 61 officers this year. That's a big difference from 42 to 61, but you're looking from 2012, now we're at 2026. So you're talking 14 years later to just really start to dig ourselves out of the hole to the point where I can, pretty much sleep half the night without, worrying about what's going on. But no, in all seriousness, like I said, we had the best residents and community anywhere. We appreciate the support. Obviously, I'm not allowed to tell you how to vote, but the millages that the city manager talked about are absolutely 100% critical for the continued operation of the city. And I know the city manager was saying that he would do things to try and offset any impact that it would have on the public safety department. But if you're trying to cut $7 million, you can shut down every department here, and you're not going to get there without getting to public safety. It's just the way it is. We are the largest department in the city, and like I said, we do 3 services. We provide police, fire, and EMS, so it allows the city to function very optimally. And I challenge our listening audience to go out and just check in with your other departments, that if you live in different cities or other cities, and see that have actually separate police, fire, and medical agencies, to see how much those funds and how much that costs a city to operate. So again, I know I was a little bit long-winded, but like I said, my main reason was just to thank you. Like, our department loves you. You're the best anywhere, and we appreciate the support. So thank you very much.
61 authorized.
Wait, you gotta be on the mic.
61 authorized. How many deployable?
61 authorized, 61 deployable. And that includes myself. So, like I said, when we were, unfortunately went through our leaner times when we had the layoffs, and it was all hands on deck. So there's no such thing as, hey, you're the chief, you get to sit behind a desk. Duty calls, you grab your stuff, you wear a gun, you wear a badge. You have a fire gear, you go out there and you pitch in and you help. And I still do that to this day. I mean, it's not just, when times are lean, we always take an all hands on approach philosophy. Officer Dean, to my right, like I said, is one of our community resource officers, one of the best in the business. Him and Steve Arbanowski, they lead our community, our resource department and efforts. And like I said, can't say enough about those two guys. And anytime, like I said, we have our radios on, we always have our equipment and we're ready to go. So 61 in service, 61 deployable.
I just want to, just a couple things. You have another question too, right? Before we get to your question, one moment. So I do want to just I wanted to ask you something. So it goes without saying, and I don't say this as much as I should anymore, because I started feeling like I was a broken record and the residents were getting sick of me saying it. But we really, to your point, I mean, our residents are the absolute best, the most educated, the most generous, the most supportive. I mean, it's incredible. But I want to point to this. This is a slide out of my budget presentation to City Council back from May. And this is something I think surprises a lot of people. I don't know if you guys can see those numbers, but so on the far left there is the tax millage rate for the city back in 2015. And so that rate was 37.6 mils, okay? And with the community center and 345 and the other one, we're only at 33.07 mils going into this next fiscal year. So, and I don't want to confuse everybody, but the millage rate for the city is much reduced from where it used to be. What is happening is the taxable value is going up by state law at the rate of inflation. And so obviously if you have a higher value and you apply a lower millage rate, you're still going to be paying more taxes because your value is increasing. Okay? This is something that people get confused about in our community. I don't want to name names, but there's people that go around and say, oh, they're increasing our taxes every year, whether we know it or not. We are not increasing your taxes every year, whether you know it or not. Inflation is, as set by the state of Michigan. In the state of Michigan, including the city of Detroit, we are all wards of the state constitution. We exist, we are creatures of the state of Michigan. We do not exist separately. And so we are beholden to state law, we are beholden to federal law, and we are also beholden to the law that says property taxable values will increase at 5% or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. That's why people think their taxes are going up every year. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. We have no control over that whatsoever. Okay, you had a question.
Does that 61, this isn't my question, but does that 61 include the K-9? And
61 does not include Vader. So. 61 does not include our K9 Vader. So with Vader, that makes 62.
got to keep you honest. Just playing the devil's advocate, I'm hopeful that both proposals will pass with flying colors. But just for the sake of argument, if one of the two should fail, is there a better one that fails versus one that passes? And is there one that has more ramifications if it fails than the other?
Well, it hurts to imagine that possibility, but obviously losing 7 mils versus just under 1 mil is a heavier impact to the department. So yeah, the 345 one is way more substantial to the city. Yeah, but make no mistake, and I don't want to confuse these two things. We cannot operate without both of these. And we've been operating with both of these now for some time. Not an increase, a straight renewal. Okay? Okay, do you have another question? Yes, you do. I know you do. You guys are walking out of here completely informed. We've changed your minds.
No, I was always good. There you go. But I wanted to answer people on Facebook or something like that's going on.
Can I ask you a question? What questions, when you say Facebook, what you mean like one of the forums or something? Okay. What are they asking on those forums and things? Well, hold on.
Why is my water bill doubled this month? It's like, yeah, why are my taxes going up every year? Why wasn't I called about the event pub? Why didn't I have any input? It's all being done in secret. Why is it all decided behind closed doors? And on and on.
And just for clarity, so what are they saying is being done in secret? The budget you're saying, or is it something?
Anything
Okay. Okay, well, no, those are,
It was done without me even knowing. I didn't have any input.
okay. Yeah, and I think, this is my opinion, a lot of this, so bear with me. Just because it doesn't happen on social media doesn't mean it doesn't happen, okay? I try to, I know Director, I don't think you're on social media, probably, you're smart, but, you know, the feedback is good, the productive feedback is good, okay? But I can assure you that nothing the city has done is in secret. In fact, all of the things that you just listed out, we've had public hearings, we've had budget meetings, we've had town halls. In fact, for the community center, we had 20 plus town halls, 20. And that doesn't include the surveys and the meetings and the community meetings. And Director Cooper and I, years ago, when we were trying to get 345 renewed another time, the first time I think it was actually, he and I sat, how many living rooms did we sit in talking to people?
Probably at least 20, I would say.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get that if it didn't happen on social media, it didn't happen. I get that sentiment. I understand that. Yeah. Well, so what I would encourage people to do is come to the source, which is the city's website or the city's social media handles. Take a look at the information we're putting out there. I can assure you our communications director is right here, and she can tell you she does an amazing job. And I'm telling you, we are all over getting the information out. We want our community to participate. And I don't want anyone, regardless, feeling like they're being left out or not told what we're doing. We want people's input.
And the other thing that I find that people complain about on the different, forums is, blaming the mayor for the DTE power failures, or that they didn't have any input in the change in the city's logo, things like that. How did that happen? How much money are we spending? How come we didn't know about it? That's the worst colors there are that, somebody came up with. So people have their own perspectives, viewpoints. They don't go to the source. It's like the sky is falling, and that just adds to more people believing what they're reading and hearing. I mean, people are still complaining about the pool being closed and demolished. So, it's sometimes...
Mr. Sherman, so I don't know that I saw you at our State of the City address, sir. You weren't there, correct? Okay. But I want to revert back to that regarding the pool specifically, because I took a lot of pride during my comments when we were able to unveil for the first time the images related to the pool. And wow, did you see it? Incredible, right? So we have worked, Dave DeCoster and his team and other folks here on our staff have worked tirelessly to put something together that we think meets the needs of our community. It's going to have play areas, slides, lap lanes, a lazy river, kiddie splash pad area indoors, and it's not going to close down like our other pool. I'm the most sentimental person in the world, by the way, but I'm also a realist. So we want to provide a real amenity where we can use it year-round for our community. What's hard is that there's this lag between the two. Dave DeCoster and his team have done a great job of moving that project up. We're actually going to be starting construction in the spring on the community center project, which we didn't know we were going to be able to do it that quickly, by the way. So I'm very excited about it. As far as the logo, we did not change the logo. I want to stress this because I hear this all over the place. We just added to our quiver of arrows. We have another arrow to use in our quiver. So I personally like it, but that's just my opinion. I don't really have a good eye for that stuff, but I think, our logo's right here. So this is still, and right there, okay? So nothing's changed. We just have another thing another tool that we can utilize. And so to the other part of your question was, how much did that cost? Our expert, this lady right here, and this is why I had her talk about this in front of council the other day. She has led a rebranding for Harrah's Casino, was it? Tropicana. There. Not a gambler. Tropicana Casino. So, and other cities, not to mention, right? So it's not like she's new at this, okay? So we've got experts on staff here, two of them right here, right, who can do this stuff in-house. And, you know, I'm not new to this either, so I'm fully reliant on them to do it. So there was no cost. As far as the mayor and DTE, I got to tell you, I got to defend her on this one. So DTE's conduct has been abysmal, to say the least. But she, and people don't know this, she is rattling their cage as much as anyone possibly could. She has no power to carry out anything beyond just making phone calls and raising holy hell, but she's doing it on our residents' behalf, and I give her a ton of credit for that. What DT is doing, you know, it's no different than what other monopolies, Wall Street traded other monopolies are doing to us. They're unaccountable, they're not paying attention, and it happened to be a perfect storm, no pun intended, with the way that it happened, you know, right before a holiday, unexpected storm that came up out of nowhere. I can't tell you how many times I've been on the calls with the DC people since this all happened, weekends and so forth. And just getting back to public safety real quick, I want to use this past weekend as an example to point out the work that Director Cooper and his staff are doing. This guy, I know this because he and I communicate all the time. On the weekends, it doesn't matter. When there's problems, and you know we just had a problem at our recording studio down here. We don't have many of those. But when those situations happen, I think the residents know him well enough after all these years to know this already, but I want to say it again. There's nobody more attentive and on it than this guy right here. It's incredible, incredible. If people knew the amount of extra things that he does, in addition to what is mandated to him in his capacity as the Director of Public Safety, they would be amazed. And we don't mess around in Oak Park. I think everyone knows that collectively. We'll get you, I promise. You want to speak to that?
No, I appreciate those words, and like I said, it's an honor and a pleasure, obviously, like I said, to wear the badge and to serve the residents, and you want to make sure that you do it at the most optimal level. We want to give you your best bang for your buck, and like I said, I've been doing this job for a long time. Nowhere near tired yet. I got still a lot of gas in the tank, and you know, I believe in giving you 100%, and you set the tone at the top, and the men and women that are on your agency, they'll follow your lead, and that's paying true to this day. We have a decent amount of new officers that have come on the department, and they have not missed a beat. You know, what they have lacked in experience, they're picking up really quick, and they're out there working extremely hard. Could not be prouder of the job that they're doing. Like I say, I hate to bother the boss. I'm probably talking to him out of 7 days. We probably talk after hours, probably at least 5 of those. And you know, it's a part of the job. And you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and giving the residents the full bang for your dollars. And public safety, like I said, obviously is a big part of that. And as long as he allows me to run the public safety department, you're gonna get everything I got and then some.
Absolutely, these guys are amazing, and I know this may be controversial to say a little bit, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's my personal feeling. I want criminals to know that we are not messing around. That when you come into our community, I don't know what you're doing wherever else you are, but when you're here, you're gonna follow the rules. Or else. It's that simple. And I know that's controversial to say. I can't believe it is, but it is. But I'm here to say it. So, period. And in order to maintain that standard, got to have these guys fortified with proper equipment and cars and trucks and staff. Okay. Canines. And canines, right? Yeah, and drones. Our drone is doing wonders for us. Yes, ma'am. Oh, hi. Communications Director Toth. Hi.
Quick question. So, for our residents who may not have made it here today, unlike our 3 very engaged residents who are here today, thank you for being here. Can they find this information another time or another place, City Manager?
Well, that is an excellent segue. Do you also do branding by any chance? Okay, you do? Okay. So we are going to have, we're going to have 4 more of these. Okay, which, is very aggressive, obviously, before the primary. The next one's going to be on Thursday, July 23rd. That's this Thursday from 9 to 2. At the farmer's market, I'm sorry, yeah. I was out of the office last week, and I was up north, so I was breathing in a lot of Canadian wildfire smoke. So I was like, wow. By the way, the smoke is a lot worse up there than it is here. When I got back here, I thought, what are these people complaining about? There's ash in the air up there, literally falling on your clothes and things. But the next one will be at the farmer's market, July 23rd from 9 to 2. There'll be an informational event table from 11 to 2. And then the next one after that will be on Sunday, July 26th from 1 to 4. And that's during our Touch a Truck event. You want to speak to that?
Oh yeah, come on out. The more the merrier. We're gonna have a lot of fire trucks, police cars from area departments, Detroit, Southfield, Ferndale, state police. We're gonna have a whole bunch of cool stuff out here for your families, kids, or the grown adults that love this stuff too, like me. I'm kind of a nerd with it. So
Now, I heard that you may do some juggling for the kids too. Is that?
that'll probably be off Sharbanowski. That's not gonna be me.
Does he he juggles? Wow.
Yeah, we'll
So,
find out.
we've got jugglers on the staff too. Okay. They're not just juggling cases. Okay. The next one after the Touch a Truck event will be on Wednesday, July 29th from 11 to noon, and that will be with me again. Right? From 11 to noon, right at the event hub, inside the event hub, and that's an in-person only. Okay? Then the final one before the primary will be Thursday, July 30th, at the farmer's market again from 9 to 2, and that also is in person at the farmer's market. Is there anything else I should be adding to that? Oh, there we go. You really just need to go to the city website or any of our handles. Yeah. What about the forums? Do we? Okay. Okay. So I heard we got a new city website. Is that what? Wait, you're not on.
Same convenient address, oakparkmi.gov, just with a new look and hopefully increased functionality. oakparkmi.gov.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions before we get out of here? We have our artist reception here at 6 o'clock, and then we have a city council meeting at 7 o'clock. Exciting night here in Oak Park. And I think we're going to get some storms, Dave? Oh, overnight, okay. Are we going to have a DTE situation? Should we warn these guys now? Now, okay, while we have you on the spot, Dave, are we going to have an MDOT situation with an extension of the project on 696? Because then we're going to have another public safety situation, and it's going to involve me. So, can you come up, Dave? I want you to, for everybody at home, can you give us an update on that project? Because I think we're good with 696, right? Or should we just tell them to keep it going for a while? Another year? 2 years?
Hello, everyone. The project is on schedule as of right now. They are scheduled to wrap up and open up the freeway with this fall. I believe by November. As you know, church is closed as well, so ZO3 Plaza Deck, which is Victoria Park, that's also scheduled to open this fall. I'm not sure if the park will be open this fall. They still have a lot of amenities, put up their trees, prep for a bathroom that we negotiated, the new playscape, a lot of concrete, streetlights. So there's a lot of work on top of that deck to be finished yet. So I believe Church Street will be open for the traffic, but I don't think the park will quite be open yet. So, yeah.
And that's above grade, the park on top. Okay, and then Dave, while you're standing up here, I know you guys are all wondering what's happening on Coolidge in those parking lots. You know what I'm talking about? Are you wondering what's happening? Okay. I'm reading minds. Dave?
So at the last meeting, we approved a change to our contract, and we are repaving many of those parking lots along Coolidge. They're Coolidge off-street parking lots between Elgin, Manhattan, or on either side of Lincoln. So much needed repairs. We've done some preventative maintenance in the past with joint sealing and things like that. Yep, and there's one actually south of 10 Mile by Hungry Howie's. So a lot of preventative maintenance in the past, but we're finally going through putting new concrete in, and we're also putting in a sizable chunk of money into landscaping. So out there you're going to see, it was approved at City Council, so you'll see some renderings that we had in the last meeting, I believe, and some meetings before. New plantings, irrigation, some small bollards, some areas to step out on from the car because the area is a little bit tight, but it's really going to beautify the area. Currently, there was brick pavers, some weeds, no real plantings in the area, but this is really going to beautify the area. You're going to be like driving in a new corridor. So it's really going to be a nice project. We're finishing up the new concrete out there now. We're working on some water taps for the irrigation and things. So we're hoping later this fall that project will be complete.
You know, I think that project, I know this may surprise people, but that project is one of the projects, as Dave, I've said this to you many times, I am so over the moon and excited about, because the impact that aesthetic change, not just aesthetic, it's also improving the parking lot areas, of course, but it gets back to the improvements to the built environment. And what happens when you improve the built environment, people's impressions of your community change like that. Promise you. Wait till we get those trees planted and all that foliage is in there and it's all done, and people are going to say, man, I drove by Coolidge the other day and I saw your community and look what's happening. That stuff matters. And we take that stuff very seriously. It's not a high expense. It's expensive, don't get me wrong. But it's not, you know, a high expense thing that we're going to do, and we would like to do it in other parts of the city too. So, okay. Listen, any other questions before we, okay, you guys, thank you so much. Seriously, appreciate it.